where we are on some manifest your life, shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit. I'm Christy.
And I am Mia, and you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends for the next hour plus or so. Mm-hmm. So, last week, we talked about being worthy. The episode was titled, I Am Worthy. And we hope that it would just kind of spark something in you to know that without a shadow of doubt that you are amazing, that you are good, and your life is wonderful. We discussed why some people struggle with feelings of worthiness, and we shared our stories as we are stepping into our I am worthiness. Mm-hmm. We also share how to begin affirming your self-worth. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, give it a shot. So, Christy, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so today's...
Oh, that's what we doing today. Okay. Today.
You guys, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. But it's all right. We're just going to roll with this. So, today's topic is on forgiveness. And so this actually came up recently for me. A relationship with a female friend that I had ended a couple years back, and she recently reached out to me and she asked if we can talk to clear the air. And so it made me think of forgiveness and the necessity of it. And also this week when I was meeting with my clients, forgiveness came up for my clients. Mm-hmm. There's been this theme of forgiveness, and so I think there's what better time.
I think it's such a worthy topic for the time we're ending out this year. We're ending out this decade. Yep. It's a time of a big transition, and I think it's just perfect to end on forgiveness. And we need to release some stuff and let some stuff go. And we're still in that full moon energy, so
yep,
it's perfect timing.
Perfect. But I liked this quote, and I think I forgot who wrote it. But it says, forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. And so for me, this says so much, because when people wrong us, we can't change that. Whatever happened in the past happened. But what we can change is we can change our emotional future, and that happens through the act of forgiveness.
Okay, so what is forgiveness? So, we think forgiveness is not an acknowledge of someone's verbal apology, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's forgiveness is the process of allowing yourself to be at peace with someone who has caused you pain.
Peace.
I can be at peace with somebody else's behavior towards me. So it doesn't excuse their behavior. This is a big thing. A lot of people feel like, if I forgive it, this someone think he got away with one. No. And that he did, Mm-hmm. They didn't get caught or whatever. It doesn't excuse that. It just stops what they've done from destroying your heart. Mm-hmm. It's just saying that this person's actions no longer have power over you. Wow. Because when we don't forgive, we're holding on to something. When you hold on to something, that's a weight on you. It has power over you. So as long as you hold on to this idea that no one on earth can do anything to you, if that someone can do something to you, then you won't be able to forgive. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing, people can't change you. They can't change who you are or what you're born to be. But what they can do is just create obstacles, put stuff in front of you to try to make you change, make you think you are something less than you are. But they can't, in fact, change who you are, who you're meant to be on this earth.
No, that's true.
But you have a choice. Am I going to believe their lie? Or I'm going to believe my truth. So forgiveness allows you to accept your truth, no matter what someone has put in front of you or done to you. And then it's, forgiveness is the willingness to let go of the negativity that you're holding on to yourself. Mm-hmm. So there's this, I love this story, right? It's super cool. So there was this teacher talking to a student, a sage or something. And they were talking about the idea of forgiveness. And the teacher asked the student, do you have many people who have wronged you? He said, yes. So he gave him some potatoes. Mm-hmm. And he said, every person who has wronged you that you have not forgiven, write their name in the potato. And he did. And he gave him a sack, put all the names in there. And he said, carry that around for a week and let's talk later.
Wow.
So at first, the student was like, okay, cool. He walking around, everything's cool, he's fine. And after a while, it gets a little heavier. Then those potatoes start to rot. So now it's funky and it's heavy. And you're like, okay, I don't even want to do this anymore. This is a big burden. Why am I holding on to this? So by the end of the week, he gets to the teacher and he's like, okay, I get your point. Negativity.
It's a weight.
Yeah, not forgiveness is like a weight being lifted off of you. When you forgive someone for what they do, you're putting down that funky, rotten potato sack. And then, I mean, and there's so many implications of that story, because then when you think about being funky like that with the rotten potatoes, that means what type of people are you attracting to you, because you're carrying around all somebody else's funk/forgiveness.
That's true.
Yeah. And the story does go deeper into why you still carrying the sack, but that's deeper than we go on today. But, you know what I mean? So, I think that's when you really think of it in that way, because like, it's not absolving anyone. It's basically getting the weight off of you for you to rise. You know?
Yeah.
So what is it not?
Okay, so let's talk about what forgiveness is not. So forgiveness is not completely forgetting that you were wronged. And there's that saying, and I was on the fence with this, I forgive you, but I'm never going to forget. And I was thinking, okay, well, if you really, truly forgive someone, do you forget it? Like, do you choose to let that go? Or is it just something that you kind of tuck away? But I was just getting a little bit too deep about that. But, one thing I do acknowledge is that it does take some time to heal. When you are able to forget what happened to you. Like, I think of what I went through in my first marriage, and some shit I realized, like, oh, I actually went through that. But forgiveness is also not conceding to the other person, meaning you were wrong and the other person was right. So if a friend or family member or colleague did or said something that really hurt you, then they're at fault. And forgiving them doesn't change that. Also, when we make the choice not to forgive, as Mia said, we're holding on to the past, which causes us to relive the pain. And I don't know about you, but who wants to relive pain?
I want to do it the first damn time.
Right. Why would you want to relive pain? And although it's
no
not...
repete.
No repete. But no, like, honestly, thinking about reliving the pain, I know I don't want to do that. And that, honestly, that will cause you to get stuck in this space where you're angry, and it's this accusatory state that prevents you from moving forward. It's that weight that Mia was talking about. And so growing and succeeding, it does tamper with the way that you grow and succeed in other areas of your life. So you want to release that. And you are, in fact, when you do that, not forgiving, you are giving this person power over your life and ability to blossom into the queen or king you're meant to be. And so not forgiving holds us in the past. We don't want to stay in the past. We want to move forward. And if you want to move forward and grow, you got to let go of the hurt. Let go of that potato sack.
I mean, and if you really think about it, and like keeping it real, especially, this is how it comes down to, like, you've been in relationships before. With people or even family members where you feel like somebody has wronged you, and you'll say, I mean, I let it go because you still will function with that person. I know, just like in my relationships, it's like I would have thought that I forgave because I'm still interacting, I'm still with this person, but I didn't forgive truly, because I wouldn't have been able to be triggered. So anything that even made me halfway go back to the pain that caused them. Now I'm reacting to this current situation with all that I just swept under the rug, and it bubbles up. So then it's like I really didn't forgive. That's when you talk about that forgive and forget. I think that when you truly forgive somebody, you don't even have to try to forget them. It doesn't even matter if you forget them or not. It's just because I've truly let it go. So it's not like, in order for you to forgive, it's like I want to forget that this person ever existed. You know what I mean? I wish they were just gone. I mean, I forgive it. It's over. Just die. Just go away. You know what I mean?
So with my ex-husband, who was physically abusive, and I may speak more about it later, but there are times where, there was a point when we were cool, but then there was a point where he snapped, like he was snapping off like he used to do. And there was no reaction. I was like, oh, click. And where before it's like, oh, don't do that, or, come on, let's talk, let's communicate. Oh, I don't have time. And I, honestly, I really forgot that side of him. I completely forgot about that. And when it happened, I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
and I think that comes with forgiveness.
That's true. So when you,
but I don't know.
I don't know. It's because I'm trying to think. I think that when you truly forgive and have released whatever power or emotion it has over you, it doesn't matter if you forget it. Like it's just it has no power. It doesn't, because what you're doing has no say about who the hell I am.
Yeah, that's true. So I still, I remember areas, but it does not impact me. It has no effect on me.
Okay. Now, but I think I want to talk about self-forgiveness, because I think forgiving other people it's difficult to even comprehend all of that, but the bonuses in forgiving yourself, it actually benefits you, but it allows you to forgive other people, right? Sorry, I'm messing up over here. Ooh. So
it's that popcorn.
I know I can't stop chewing.
And it's sitting right in front of me, and I'm really trying not to.
So self-forgiveness, though, it helps you separate who you are as a person from mistakes that you've made.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes we internalize any mistakes that we've made, and we make it like that. Then that means this is who I am, and that's not true at all. But if you start operating from that state of mistakes, it affects everything. Yeah. So, and this way you can begin to learn from your choices and make wiser, and then make the wiser decisions when it's ready. And then also, when you truly forgive yourself, it's so much easier for you to be able to forgive others, because you have compassion and understanding that people make mistakes, and that doesn't mean that's who you are. So me forgiving you is forgiving that I know that there's still God in you. I'm not dealing with you and putting myself in a position to be hurt further. However, I can forgive you and be okay, and just choose me over, and and you go that path. But but it's a process. It takes a little time.
Yeah.
But self-forgiveness, though.
So, but, and we talked about this, I think, last week when we were talking about I am worthy. Why is it almost seems so easy to forgive other people and so hard to forgive ourselves? Why is it that we give grace to other people, but it's hard to give ourselves grace?
Because when we're releasing, there's shame and guilt associated with that. So when we've made our own mistakes. So think about it. Think about how hard this is. Me, I have to, in order for me to forgive myself, I have to go through a couple of steps. I have to really admit that I did something wrong. That I made a decision that was hurtful towards me. Because then that takes you out of the victim role. You can't say, well, this person tricked me. I thought it was this and I thought it was that. Self-forgiveness is like you made a decision that put you in a place where you harmed yourself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in alignment with who you are. That's a whole thing in and of itself, because that's some really hard self-accountability. And then you have to say, allow yourself some grace. Like, okay, I did do that. Now I have to let that go.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. Yeah. And then, you think about, so you have to go through all of that and then but when you get to that light and you see, okay, I get it. People aren't necessarily mistakes that they've made. They're still, they're still a whole human being. I just interacted with this person. I can let that go.
Yeah.
Just for me, because I don't want to carry around their weight. I got, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we do that. We will, we become our mistakes. But like you said, releasing the shame and the guilt, because the longer you hold on to it, it leads to a self-destructive behavior, and it affects your decision making. You have to release the shame and the guilt. And honestly, all of this is hard. We're talking about it because it's necessary, but it's work.
But think about eating disorders, self-destructive behavior, perfectionism, self-sabotaging behavior.
Why am I all of those?
You're so silly. Drug addiction.
I'm not that.
Sex addict. Let me tell you something. If I ever write a TV show and then I direct it, baby, you are definitely, but when I say she is on point with the face.
Someone tells me, don't play poker. That's why I don't.
Oh my goodness, that was great. Thank you. But, so when you're holding on to, you're shaming yourself, it's like you're starting to, like, shame and guilt are different. I think shame is like when you're holding on to something that's making you believe that you're less than something that you are. I feel like shame is like deeper. Yeah. It's like, it's cutting to the core of who I believe I am. So then you start operating from this, at this 30% level of who you are. You know what I mean?
Shame minimizes you.
Yes. I know, okay, y'all, Soul just came out. So shame, if anybody's watched this, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. So shame is the lost souls. Anybody who watched the movie, Christy didn't watch the movie.
Oh, so I did. I fell asleep though.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I cannot believe you.
I had a lot of weed too.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Christy is so good.
I woke up the next day ready to watch it, and I finished it. But I want to see it again, not like being able to focus. It was good though.
So shame is like the lost souls. So once you're able to free yourself, once you're able to free yourself and allow yourself to be free of that, then you want everybody else to feel that. So it's so easy for you to forgive other people. Because, by offering forgiveness, it allows people to forgive themselves, and that cycle continues.
See, it's not just me.
But speaking of the cycle, one more thing is, why do you self-forgiveness is because hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, we say that all the time.
Yeah.
But healed people heal people.
That's true.
Yeah, you gotta stop the cycle.
Okay,
so how do people forgive themselves?
I don't know. What do you do?
And we say this all of the time. It's a choice. It is a choice. Once you make the choice to forgive yourself, you just have to make sure that you do the work. Because it does take some time. And so as I was going through a process of forgiving myself, asking myself, why do I attract these kind of men? Why do I attract these kind of people into my life? Why am I, doing X, Y, and Z? Or why do I feel this is acceptable? Or why am I chasing after people to be my friends when I know that they really could care less? Like things like that. And I had to get to a point where it's just like, you're not perfect. You're human. It's okay. Like I give you grace. I forgive you. I forgive myself.
I think the most difficult part, and I think self-forgiveness is an ongoing process, because the more that you live and you discover about life and of yourself, you understand that there's going to always be opportunities for you to give yourself grace, right? I think that for me, it took a while it was the acknowledgement that I even needed to give myself forgiveness. Because oftentimes when we're in the middle of this forest and we're making these decisions, we can't see the individual trees because we're just standing, we're standing in it. And especially for those things that I thought I was doing the right thing because I was doing what I thought I should. And so it was very difficult for me to forgive, because I'm like, but I did what I was told, but I did the right thing. You know what I mean? I did what I was supposed to do. But what allowed me to start the self-forgiveness process is I started going through a process of trying to forgive my biological mother. And that brought me to a lot of, because I really wanted to just be able to for real release it. Like, it's like you said, it's like you can move on and you're fine. And I was like, it's just, I filed it this way. And it's like, you will trick yourself because I wasn't necessarily angry anymore. So it's like, okay, I'm not mad anymore. I forgive it. But I didn't really forgive it. I didn't let it go because I still had questions.
So how did you know you didn't forgive it though?
Because I would get triggered. Something would come up and then like the tears would come, you know what I mean? Like it was like, it's like, if I had truly forgiven it, it wouldn't necessarily be such a trigger. No, you know what I mean? Right. So there would be nothing for somebody to hit a button and that file comes up. It's like, I've released it. It's going into ether,
That's so true, because when my ex-husband tries to act out, before I used to deal with it, now I'm just like, oh, bye, have a great day, click.
But because that pain was so real, it was very similar for me to forgiveness of self, because it's your mother, you know what I mean? So I think that's that's why I was like, okay, wait a minute, hold on, this is really hard for me, and I'm not even mad anymore, but I know it's still there. And then I started well, hold on, sis, what's going on with you? It's like, nothing's going on with me. And then you can fool yourself. It's like, I'm doing the work. I'm asking myself the question, what you mean? I'm not doing anything. It's like, no, something's going on with you. And so far, your journey has been all about forgiving and giving passes and moving forward. And that's a lot of external. I was like, but I'm understanding that forgiveness of others, it takes tethers off of you. It's like, now you pulling the bows out of you, like letting this stuff go. So that is good work for you. But then that bow and arrow we have on ourselves when we don't forgive ourselves is straight through the heart.
Yeah, and that's probably the hardest one to release. And that's what the question of, like, why is it that way? Why, when it comes to ourselves, things seem to be so hard and difficult, but when it comes to other people, it's like, okay, I'll give you another chance.
Because like I said, if you really just think about the concept of why would I ever need to forgive myself? Because why would I do something? I'm not going to consciously do something bad to myself unless, I'm not even talking about somebody who's depressed or even maybe suicide. I'm not speaking necessarily in that realm, but it's just, I'm fine. I'm enjoying life, and I'm not doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? That's just really hard to accept, especially if, nothing terrible is happening in your life. It's like, everything's fine. I got a good job. I'm cool. I have no complaints. I'm fine. It's like, how's everything going? It's fine. It's fine. And then, when you start to think like, what if life wasn't just fine? What if it was amazing? What if it was enlightening? What if it was inspiring? What if it was joyful? Then you start being like, oh shit, wait a minute, hold on, what? Well, how do you do that?
Yeah, no, it's so true.
But going back to others, how do you forgive? How do you forgive other people? What's been the most difficult thing for you to forgive someone for?
My ex-husband, because he was physically abusive, and some of you may or may not know, but I have a bump on my. I feel like I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I have a lump on my shoulder. Because he separated it, and that was probably our entire relationship. I had to forgive him because so much shit happened. But the biggest thing was the physical abuse, and it took time. I honestly didn't realize it was even there until I started seeing a psychologist, but I saw a psychologist not for like mental health issues, but because of something else. I'm open on here, so why not? I wanted to get pregnant. This was a long time ago. So I had to see a psychologist. So I thought that I was going to talk about having a baby after, but I didn't. It was just talk about you. I've never been asked that. And then stuff started coming out about my ex-husband, and I realized that I needed to let it go. And I called him, and I reminded him of things. And then I finally just said, I forgive you. I'm letting it go. I'm not holding on to it anymore.
So I'm just asking, why did you feel it necessary to call them and tell them? The reason I ask because I know a lot of people, oftentimes, I know there's a lot of people out here who have to learn forgiveness for people that they may not be able to speak to.
Yep.
Because they're either passed away or
Yep.
they can't talk to them, you know what I mean? But they still have to find a way I'm saying closure but I really hate that word because it's not a real concept. But I think to find a way to release that weight, to find that peace, and they may not be able to have that conversation.
So one of the clients that I had this week, she wrote a letter to her deceased mom because her mom showed up, and her mom showed up extra early, like ready, and I wasn't able to really talk to her then. Sorry, I'm sure you guys are hearing all of this. But yeah, so she was gonna write her a letter and let her know that she forgives her, because I did mention, but forgiveness came up in her reading, and I think it's really important to let that go. But I'm sorry, going back to the session that I had. When I saw the energy, it looked like smog. Like it was kind of like it was polluted. You know, and I think about all the things that we hold on to that we don't release and we don't let go. It's weighing us down energetically.
Well, it's the end of the year. As a matter of fact, when this goes live, it'll be the 1st of January, right?
Oh, yeah.
Happy New Year, you guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Oh, my goodness.
Happy New Year.
It's 2020. Ooh, child. Wait, I need to put myself together real fast. I was not prepared for that.
Wow, in a couple of days.
Wow. Sorry guys. What was I saying? Shoot.
About the new year.
Oh, it's the new year. I didn't realize this will go live on New Year's Day. So releasing some weight before the new year or walking into the new year is perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
You know?
So what are some ways that we can start forgiving?
Start understanding why it's better for you to forgive. And just think of it as like, you know, every year, look, you know, everybody's talking about how much weight they want to lose. Just think about how much weight you're dropping. Dropping all these people and their control over you. That's like coming in 100 pounds lighter just off of some spiritual weight.
No, I'm for real.
Yeah.
When I got out of one relationship, my whole body, my physicality changed. I'll take that.
What about think about all the times that you have been forgiven. Yeah. There's so much power and really, when you've truly been forgiven, I can speak personally, definitely on this. Oh, when you've truly been forgiven for behavior, for things that you've done to somebody, and you know you're bogus, and seeing true forgiveness, it changes your life. It makes it so much easier for you to start to forgive people, because you just you showed me so much grace. And when you know you weren't deserving, you felt that you weren't deserving. At least you felt, because you're always deserving, but you felt like you weren't deserving. And for someone to show you grace and to remind you, you probably can't see it right now, but I can see it in you. I forgive you, child. It's life changing. So when you start to think about where you've been forgiven, that makes it a little bit easier for you to forgive somebody else. All right. So, what's some ways you forgave, Christy?
So, and for, the process of forgiving people is going to be different for everyone. Some people will write a letter, some people will call, some people will do whatever feels right to them, write it down, not necessarily talk to the person, but write it down what the person did, their name, and maybe burn it or let it go, release it. So everyone's is different, but for me, it was the calling. It was just part of. It was an exercise that me and my ex-husband decided to do. It was a process of just forgiving people because, you know, when you're in a relationship, you want to let go of the baggage that you bring into the relationship. And a lot of that baggage is not being able to forgive. So we called everyone.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got a couple questions. What precipitated this idea? I'm trying to understand.
No. To be honest, it might have come from the pastor at the church.
And so, is this like part of your premarital?
Mm-mm. No.
So, y'all sat down and thought about people that you needed to forgive.
Uh-huh.
Past relationships.
Yeah.
And then decided that you would each call and forget and tell these people that you forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Don't think about that. That is really interesting. I mean, I guess as a concept, it's a good way to. Did you have to share your list?
No.
That is that's an interesting thought. That's one way to clear up everything before you get into a new relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your takeaway, Christy? Christy over there munching, y'all.
I'm sorry. Gosh, she always has the good snacks. Lord, I'm like the snack monster. But yeah, the calling worked for me. I was able, and it's not just like you said X, Y, and Z on this date, and I was so upset with you. I didn't, I was so angry with you, but I forgive you now. And then just hang up the phone. It was a conversation where both parties shared, each other's feelings, where they were at that time. Some people didn't apologize on the other end, and that's not the goal. The goal is to release it from yourself. So whether or not they decide to release, again, it's a choice. That's their business. But it was something that I needed to get out of my heart, let it go, talking about it and letting these people know how it made me feel.
Interesting.
And being confident enough to walk away from it, that was helpful for me as far as forgiveness. But as far as my takeaway is that, people who you have a hard time forgiving, it's easy to cut these people out, but I'm that person. So, raise your hand if you are that person. It is me. I mentioned that I blocked the person that was, we talked today. But the thing is, honestly, you won't be completely free from the resentment and pain until you forgive that person. And as hard as it is to do, it's not you are giving that person more power when you choose not to forgive than when you choose to forgive yourself. And so there is this one quote that Oprah Winfrey had, and it states, "Forgiveness is not giving up the hope that the past could be or could have been any different. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have, I don't know, I can't read today, could have been any different." And again, not forgiving someone, it keeps you in the past. That's something that you've been hearing throughout this entire podcast, of this episode. Excuse me, it keeps you in the past. And I thought this was powerful. And so I forgive those of you who are out there who owe me some money. You know who you are. If you haven't paid me back. I know that you blocked me. Anyway. So I can't see you. But I'm not going to forget it. But I forgive you. But I forgive you.
I think my takeaway, I'm really appreciate the fact that I think you and I are a little different about how what's necessary for our forgiveness, because I think our readers will be different too. So for me, in any part of the forgiveness of somebody, they don't necessarily need to be involved at all, because it really is. When I say involved at all, I mean like I don't ever really. I'll tell you this. I know for me, when I'm ready and I'm truly forgiving, when I don't feel the need to have the conversation, when I don't feel the need to call them. This, like, for myself, because I know me, if I did, because I know how I am. So I know if I feel the need to call, that means that I'm expecting them to say something that's going to make it right, or I'm just me. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I know myself. Like, I know that if I call, then it's like I'm really not letting it go. What I'm doing is I'm still hoping that what we experienced is not what not what it's showing. I'm like, I'm hoping that you're telling me that I'm wrong, that this didn't happen, that you aren't like that, and you know what I mean. So it's that, like, so that's why that call is necessary.
So it's interesting that you kind of feel comfortable waiting.
Like, I don't ever have to talk to them when I forgive somebody. That's what I'm saying. That's the part that is interesting to me. It's like when I'm really forgiving it, it's an exercise by myself. I'm really like, I just let that go. I don't not like you. I don't miss you. I don't not miss you. It's just I truly just.
And see, for me, like, honestly, let it go. I will let it kind of just fester, kind of hide in the corner. And so for me, I have to act on it and deal with it on the front end, because otherwise I know that if I let it sit, then I'm just going to, it'll be one of those things like, oh, I'll just sweep it under the rug. It's not that big of a deal. And then it pops up later down the line, like, the issues with my ex-husband.
Right.
So for me, like, I know that I will be lazy, like, oh, I don't need to deal with that right now. I'm not affected, but it's like, no, let's talk about this. Let's get it out.
Yeah, when I let it go, it's truly a let go, and I can't, you know what I mean? And and that allows me, so when I do see someone or run into I'm truly okay. I don't, right. I did. And also one thing about forgiveness is just she's so funny, is aside from allowing yourself to have compassion for yourself and for other people, it allows you to look at your life without judgment and look at experiences without judgment. Yeah. When you forgive yourself and you forgive others, you begin to look at life experiences not as this was a bad experience in my life, or this was a good experience in my life. You really truly get to that point, and this is such a beautiful place if you think about it. Is this very kind of zen-like place where you truly get to see your experiences like it is what it is, and it's a part of my story, and I know that I love who I am right now and in this moment, and if anything of this story were not here, I wouldn't be who I am today. And you get into that space, it's not like that was a really bad experience in my life, because compared to what? Because look where I am now. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, when we're in the middle, and if you truly think about that, when we're dead in the middle of a very bad experience, sometimes we don't even know that, because we're so accepting of where we know. Exactly. So
when you're in the middle of the storm.
So that's what I'm saying. So when you're looking back at an experience and you're judging if it's bad or good, that's from a different place. Yeah. So when you're able to look at that, it just is. It just was. It's just a part of who I am. Just like this moment is right here and right now, and I feel full here. But it just is. Tomorrow, 3 years from now, you could be in a totally different place and look back on this time of your life and feel like that was a bad part of my life, because you're so much in a different space. Anything can be bad compared to you in a different place.
But one of the things, and we've said this before, that it all starts with you. So if you're looking for peace, find peace within yourself. If you're looking for love, find love within yourself. But I will say that once you learn to forgive yourself, it's easier to forgive other people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I think forgiving yourself is one of the hardest things to do. But once you're able to do that, then you're much more easy. Like, it's easier to then forgive other people.
So,
did you say that time of work? Did I mess up?
No, I must just say it now. That's an easy one, guys, but necessary. If we're gonna do a spiritual version of the sack story, I'll tell the potato sack story. So basically, what I want you to do is visualize
I like that.
Every person or entity, system, because it could be a company or whatever that you feel has wronged you, and imagine it standing literally right, across from you. And if you think about how long that energy that has been with you, imagine it stinks, and imagine it's decomposing, but it's still sitting there, and it's standing in front of you. And I want you to visualize a cord between you and that rotting funk of non-forgiveness. Take some scissors, and then and cut that cord, and you'll see as that kind of floats away from you, and that is just an indication to you that you are released. And just go down the line and see whatever the ugliest decomposed representation of what you have not let go. Imagine it, feel it, and smell it. Whatever that smell that makes you gag, that's and you're gonna want, like, if you think of it as something that's just is so foul, how can anybody be around this? That's what it is. That's literally what it is. And you keep it on your energy. Cut those cords, and let's go into the new year. Hey. And go into the new year feeling lighter and free. That's y'all work.
Yep. I like that. Okay, so you guys, she has this amazing popcorn. I'm so sorry. I'm over here like eating like I haven't been fed in months. Okay. So as we close out 2020, it's very easy, and we've talked about this before because this is a challenge that we currently have going on. So it's very easy to go back over the year and see all the strife, the challenges, and even if we made it through them, for some reason the icky stuff sticks in our mind a little bit more. And you guys know this is true. Because your little boyfriend, your little cute boyfriend, your little bae, the minute he does something wrong, it's like, what? But we want to focus on the positive. So when we have those great moments, there's something we do, and that is take a photo. And so in an attempt to guide us down a path of gratitude going into 2021, which is just
today, it's January 1.
It will be today. We want to make sure that we are challenging everyone to go through your camera rolls and be reminded of the good times that you had in 2020. If you don't want to post it in 2021, you don't have to, but pick your top 10. Post them in your IG stories. Post them on your IG page with the title Gratitude 2020, hashtag number 2QCT 2020 challenge.
I like it. What's our crystal of the day? What you gotta say? Ding dong ding.
Oh man, I thought I was gonna be able to eat this popcorn. Okay. Oh man.
I gotta keep talking. She had it right next to her lips, y'all. I swear. Okay, mouth watering like
Okay, so this week's featured crystal is rhodochrosite. Is that how you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it?
Rhodochrosite.
Okay. Because, some people...
That's how I say it.
Tomato.
But dacrosite? No, it's rhodochrosite. Okay, what happened?
But it's an earth element, and it's good for the heart chakra. And so the reason... Well, I'll give you the brief description first before I stop hopping into stuff. So rhodochrosite, it's a magnesium carbonate mineral with a chemical composition. You guys don't need to know all that part. But in its pure form, it's typically a rosish red color. But in pure specimens or raw specimens can be shades of pink to pale brown. It has streaks of white, and its Mohs hardnesses. It varies between 3.5 and 4. And it's specifically, the gravity is between 3.5 and 3.7. We usually don't talk about that, but I'm sharing it here. But so this crystal has a happier and a gentler vibe to it. Its vibration of self-love, forgiveness, and compassion is more suitable for the inner child in you or for children in general. This crystal is also known as the Compassionate Heartstone, and it empowers users to honestly examine old wounds and traumas, acknowledge the associated pain, and then release it together with any negative behaviors that were adopted as coping mechanisms. So, a lot of times we try to avoid or we try to sweep things under the rug, and this will help to bring that out so that you can deal with them and cope with them. And so this particular stone it's a stone that integrates physical and spiritual energies, and so it stimulates love and passion while energizing the soul. It also opens the heart, lifting depression and encouraging a positive and cheerful outlook on life, which is what we want to have coming into the new year. It also improves self-worth and soothes emotional stress. Rhodochrosite encourages a positive attitude, creativity, and innovation. And it enhances dream states. And you guys know how I meditate with these crystals by this time. If not, I meditate with the left hand. But what is your experience with this crystal?
Honestly, I haven't meditated with rhodochrosite, but I have used it in heart chakra clearings for clients. I feel like rose quartz, is a good one, but it's so much softer. Now, like rhodochrosite, it's more powerful to me, especially for chakra clearing. I think it has a little more, yeah.
A little more splash.
It's got a little.
So rose quartz is like the salt, and then rhodochrosite is like the garlic salt.
No, rhodochrosite would be like the Louisiana.
Oh.
Yeah. Rhodochrosite is more like
Tony Chachere's.
What is? No, I like Cholula.
I have to try that.
I got some. I like that. But that Louisiana hot sauce. It's a hot sauce. Okay.
Oh, you're talking hot sauce. I'm still talking season. Okay, I'm sorry.
You know what?
Clearly
I'm not. She's not allowed to have any more snacks, y'all. So today's honestly, we kind of talked. Like the message has been all through this, but honestly, you guys, take a deep breath, and everything that has happened in this past year is such a time for us to be reminded that you might not be where you want to be, but you are not where you have been.
Right.
And take the time to look back and look at the growth that we've experienced over the last year. You are definitely not where you were. And it's okay and actually helpful for you to be grateful and thankful and present in the moment of where you are and what you have, even though, and still be working to get what you still desire. That doesn't mean that you are pausing or being stagnant. Living in gratitude and being present is like a magnet for things that you want in your life. So it's time to take an assessment and celebrate. Happy New Year. You're still here, and celebrate all the growth that you've experienced over time. And you're being asked to be patient with yourself. Release the expectation of any timelines where there's something supposed to be done by a certain time. Release that expectation and just walk the path, and just knowing like I'm okay with where I am on this path because it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. And when you just walk like that and feel like that, it's growing. And then celebrate yourself, you guys. And just like this whole episode was about, forgive yourself and cut the cords of that rotting non-forgiveness. Walk into this year feeling good, and adjust your crowns, babe.
Adjust your crowns. And 2021 should be all about you.
Woo! Yes.
It should be all about you, because I know it's all about me.
2021
is about me. But thank you for that message of the day. That was great, and I hope it resonated with you all listening.
Yes.
So once and for all, and just always, we really, 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 really thank you all for listening.
Oh, we want to thank one of our listeners, Jill.
Oh yeah.
Jill.
Hey,
Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Jill. Jill shout out to Jill. She DM'd us and sent us some money, and she was like, "Wine on me this week for the episode," and just was in some very
tripping over my words. Thanks, Jill. Thank you.
And gave us some very kind words about helping her through, with her healing process and her journey. And so, that brought tears to my eyes because
we love to hear these stories.
I just, that's like literally that's what we did this for. So to know that the intention that we put out there is being met so beautifully is it's validation for everything that we're saying to you guys, just in terms of when you put the energy out there, it's attracted to you. So thank you for continuing to help us validate universal law. So thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. So sorry. All right. So before we go, we want to show the sisters some love by leaving us a review. on whatever
Are you all leaving
pod.
reviews for us?
You know, we need to check.
I know we do. We check on a daily basis.
Wait, do one, y'all, so we can check. We're gonna take a break for a week, and just do a little planning. Come back with we have a couple of things we're gonna do. We're gonna just take some time and reboot. We're starting 2021 just like you guys, and I know that there's still some things that I think ever since the conjunction I've been letting go of stuff. So it's been. Woof, oh my goodness.
Guys, don't forget about our packages too.
Oh yes, you guys, and we are still, and that's been fun too. So thank you to everyone who booked. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we've gotten some great feedback as far as that's another great validation and work that we put into to this package. We want it's your get it right, get it tight for the weekend. Yeah. You know how y'all used to do the lemonade diet before you went to Miami for the weekend? This is your it's like your spiritual version of that for walking into 2021 spiritually snatched. Spiritually snatched. So go to our IG page. We have some packages that have readings, intentions, affirmations, healing sessions, chakra clearing, crystal recommendations. It is thebombdiggity.com.
I think it is one of the best.
Thank you.
I think it's one of the best offerings, seriously.
I do too.
And I'm not being biased. Like, I think it's what you're getting. You're getting so much.
Mm-hmm. And we're doing this in love, so it feels good. All right. So we're gonna take a break, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2021.
We love you. Adjust your crowns, queens. Release that weight.
Walk into 2021 a lot lighter. Spiritually snatched, y'all.
We out here spiritually snatched. For the gods.